To another episode of the Kam Johal Show. My guest today is none other than Ranjit Singh. Ranjit runs an incredible wrestling academy in Wolverhampton from a very old established Gurdwara, Cannock Road, which I used to visit as a kid when we went to see our relatives in Wolverhampton. So without further ado, Ranjit, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Cam.
Great to have you here.
Thank you again. Great to be here.
Yeah, how are you finding these challenging times? We're in another lockdown.
It's different. So we sort of like been having to adapt every time there's new guidelines out. So yeah, lockdowns taking a big effect, I think, on people.
Of course, and the other thing is, of course, it's the third time that we've been locked down.
Yeah.
And that's not easy on people, is it?
No, it's not. It's literally trying to get back to some sort of normality and then being locked down again. And
let's see what happens, right?
Yeah.
So we hope.
Yeah, we have to go with the guidelines and let's see where we go.
Absolutely. Right, but we're still carrying on. Work is work.
Yes.
So tell me where the story starts. So you're a very old, established family in Wolverhampton, right?
Yeah.
So was it your father that came here?
Yeah.
What year?
Our father came in 1961.
Okay.
So
sporting background from back home in India?
Very much the traditional sport back home was wrestling.
Desi, huh?
Desi, that's
yeah.
Right. So my father and my two chache, they came.
What were the names?
My father's name Nanak Singh, my chache Lashman Singh and Purushottam Singh.
So obviously the older members of our community will know them.
Yeah.
Certainly people of my father's age, etc.
Yeah.
Will know exactly who they were. So when did the tournament start in this country?
That's a good question. When they actually started, we started sort of wrestling from an early age. It was something that we were told to do.
So you and your brothers, cousins?
Yeah, cousins, friends.
Yeah.
Literally in that circle. Anybody who's in that circle had to wrestle.
Okay.
So there was a big group. Obviously, my father's age, they were all the senior guys, and we were just kids. Mm-hmm. I would say probably 40, 50 guys.
Yeah, excellent.
So
this is Wolverhampton, right?
Yes, Wolverhampton.
So I remember as a kid going to tournaments in Leicester, and the big thing, kabaddi was a very big thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So wrestling was a big part of those tournaments?
Yeah, primarily they used to be kabaddi tournaments, but because we were such a large organised, say, like a sports club in Wolverhampton, we kind of pushed our way into the tournaments. So it was kabaddi, wrestling, and there were a lot of other sports that used to take part: powerlifting, volleyball, tug of war.
Yeah,
there's a variety of sports, which was good to see.
Yes, and they've kind of died away now, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
Which is a shame.
It's a shame, yeah. I think it was really good for sports, for the community to be together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And summers they were like our music festivals, weren't they?
No, straight,
for our community, weren't they?
Yeah, it used to be 12, 15 tournaments every year.
Yeah.
Every Sunday. Used to travel up and down the country. It was good.
Okay. So your sports academy is based at Cannock Road, Gurdwara in Wolverhampton?
That's right, yeah. We've been based there for nearly 30 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Primarily, it's a wrestling club.
Yes.
And as we've developed the wrestling club, it's been known as the wrestling project in the area, not just at the Gurdwara, but the local community.
Okay. But you do other sports as well, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Tell us about what is it? Which different sports do you do?
Well, we've developed football, cricket, tennis, boxing, a youth kabaddi academy. So there's quite a wide range of sports that we develop from a grassroots level.
Okay.
Yeah, we've just based it on the wrestling club. So how the wrestling club has developed. We've got like clear pathways of picking up the kids from a young age and then developing them.
Okay. So most Gurdwara had some kind of sports affiliation back in the day, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I think sports were much more at the forefront.
Yeah.
I think because of like the last generation, like my father's, they're very much sport orientated.
Yeah.
And so when they brought you over here, it was the follow-on.
Yeah, so I'm affiliated to Nanak Gurdwara in Leicester, which my forefathers helped set up.
Yeah.
So I remember, that a lot of the community, the guys that were in sports, were really active in those early days.
Yeah.
But those have died off, a lot of them, haven't they now?
I think so. Well, definitely has. Yeah, died down a lot. Hence why I think the tournaments have died off as well.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's gone hand in hand. But I mean, we've always been encouraged to carry on what we started.
Yeah.
Or my father started.
I was going to say you've gone the other way, because the numbers of people that are participating in your club are huge, aren't they? What kind of numbers have we got? We're talking about.
We're generally talking about 200 juniors, 200 seniors.
That's 400 people, right?
Yeah, on a weekly basis.
So that's huge, isn't it?
That's huge, yeah.
So the Gurdwara has facilities to accommodate?
Yes, we do. We have indoor space, and we have large outdoor fields as well.
Okay. So one of the things that we were discussing before the show, obviously, is a huge backing from the president and the committee of the Gurdwara.
Yeah, this is obviously vital.
Yes.
For us to put on anything at the Gurdwara itself. The president, ex-wrestler, the committee members, also ex-powerlifters, etc. So they've all been involved in sports.
Okay.
So they understand the value of sports itself.
Do you think that's the key, or do they also understand the fact that in order to bring especially younger people of our community to the Gurdwara, there's got to be more than just normal prayers?
I think understanding that sports is vital.
Yeah.
To be a part of life. Physical activity, but also that nowadays I think you have to have something running.
Yes.
I've got those for the local communities to be involved in. Up and will not just turn up.
No.
So it's much easier if you have some physical activity or any sort of activity where they can engage.
Yeah. Do you find a crossover from the congregation coming to the Gurdwara, then coming into sports, and then kids primarily coming to the sports, then getting more involved with the Gurdwara and the religious side of that?
Again, I think that goes hand in hand. You need some sort of offering of sport activity to bring the community in the first place.
Yes.
Then if you show them that this is what we do and this is how we literally helping you.
Yes.
By putting on these activities, and then the crossover comes because if you've got the community coming into the Gurdwara, then you have obviously the religious side.
Yes.
And it's been offered to you.
Yes.
You got education there. You actually learn about Sikhism, and it's not just Sikhs who learn about Sikhism. It's the wider community can learn about Sikhism.
Yeah, because that's the other thing that's quite unique about the work that you're doing. It's not just for Sikh children and adults, is it? You've reached across to the community, haven't you?
Yeah, we're very, very sort of diverse and inclusive in what we do, and that's happened through obviously sports. We've got a very, very wide range of people coming to the Gurdwara.
Yeah. How's that helped, race relations and community understanding and interaction between the community, do you think?
One thing that's really developed is how the community, our local community, sort of regard the Gurdwara. They find it somewhere where it's so open, so friendly, and we've been doing that a lot in the community since, obviously COVID. And we have nowhere the local community, people you've never seen before, strangers walking up to you, when we lay that sort of food deliveries and food banks, etc., just coming up.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, you Sikhs are amazing. And we find that really heartwarming. And these are just strangers, even people who drive past are pulling over.
Yeah.
They want to give us donations to say, you're doing a brilliant job in the community, and, it's really good to see. So,
the interesting thing about that is I interviewed Ravi Singh from Khalsa a few months back, and he was saying that what he saw was a world where the Sikhs were the community of giving and charity.
Yeah.
Because as a community of people, Langar has not been copied anywhere. No religion, no organisation has managed to copy and have the success of what our gurus gave us, which was Langar.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, so recently they've been in the headlines for feeding all the lorry drivers, and we've got Midland Langar Seva all over I think they're in 26 different cities.
Okay.
So got a whole host of organisations doing some amazing work.
Yeah.
And I think some of that's come through, especially during COVID, hasn't it?
I think it's taken the limelight.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people realise what the Sikh community has actually done.
Yeah.
From a lot of the Gurdwaras as well.
Yes, huge giving going on to the wider communities, and I think that can only benefit the Sikhs of better understanding and differentiation as well, because obviously people that don't know the immigrant communities, they would lump us all in with others, wouldn't they? But you know, places like Leicester, places like Birmingham, Wolverhampton, where the Sikh community is so prevalent, so strong, I think that the rest of the communities actually know the difference, that these are Sikh people, this is what they do.
This is, I think, again, something that's been highlighted to us ourselves, that they're not just coming up, people are not just coming up to us and saying, oh, you're an Indian, or it's actually you Sikhs are doing great stuff. So it's kind of like a step to us up a level, and it's good to see.
That's right. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because the thing is that, you know, we live in a very, very small country. India's a huge place, so with very many diverse religions and groups of people who have emigrated here. We've got our own unique identity, each of us, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
And I mean, as a Sikh, I'm proud of the identity that we're forging. That we're a giving community. And we're a caring community. And you know, you guys are at the forefront of helping do that.
I think it's kind of like in our blood, isn't it? As a community.
Well, our gurus gave it to us.
That's right.
And we've not failed, have we?
No.
In what's going on, we're spreading the word.
I think to us it's the normal thing to be doing.
Absolutely.
It's nothing that you find that like it's like work or anything. It's something that you want to do. It's rewarding.
Yes.
To help others.
With the Sports Academy, you know, I know you're working with a couple of other Gurdwara to expand and grow those. Which ones are those, and what kind of work are you doing there?
I mean, we started developing wrestling in a couple of Gurdwara locally in Wolverhampton, but we have a network across the country. I mean, further afield, Yeslow and Barking. They're our partners in what we're doing. So we're setting up a network across the country now with Gurdwara.
Right.
To help develop what we're doing.
Okay.
So it can only feel good. I think, you know, the Gurdwara's about this sort of like an opportunity to do much more.
Definitely.
They've got the capability, they've got everything. So if there are any Gurdwara who, you know, what it is, it's not that Gurdwara do not want to engage in this type of or further up the levels in community work, etc. Sometimes they just haven't got the expertise. Absolutely.
You know, the will is there. You know, they want to do good. And I think the other thing is that what we need some younger people to come forward into the Gurdwara committees. And we need the committees to welcome them, and because they will have those ideas, especially if those young people are affiliated to some kind of sport. And then they can introduce that. Like you said, the expertise is not there to be able to implement these things. But any Gurdwara that reach out to you, you're willing to help them, aren't you?
100%. We offer that support. This is across the country. So,
because you see, one of the things that I'm very passionate and feel very strongly about is the fact that today religion isn't followed just because you say do it. You know, younger people need to be shown what there is, and we have the most amazing religion in terms of it's young. You know, the ideas are very modern. You know, man, woman, equal. You know, our religion, you know, kind of outlawed prejudices of all sorts, didn't they? Caste and creed and colour. And, you know, our Gurdwaras, you know, madrasa with the 4 entrances. We welcome all, don't we?
That's right, and I think sports are a great way of putting those values across.
Yes. Very much so.
So being sort of open to, like we say, to every single person out there. To the whole community.
You know, over the years, obviously, like you said, you're founded on the wrestling club. And the wrestling club with your own family, you've had some great successes, haven't you, over the years?
My brothers have been to the Olympics. Last 2 Sikh guys to have qualified in wrestling. But I mean, from then, our history is quite rich, very rich. Commonwealth medalists, sort of like world top 10 athletes. It just goes on. We've been one of the best top wrestling clubs in the country, top 3 sort of like since day one.
Yeah.
And we're still producing champions. We have 12 national champions there right now. And this is all from Gurdwara, which is the unique thing here.
Yes.
It's not just any sports club, a general sports club, let's say. The unique thing is we're developing it from a Gurdwara.
And that's incredible, isn't it?
It's quite massive, yeah.
So how much, in terms of the values of Sikhism, how much of those are instilled within the club?
We kind of like set the bar, set the level where the youngsters will look up to the elders. Yeah. And these guys have been still are at high levels in the sport itself. So when they first come in and the elders will come in, they'll go and do the technique. They'll say a prayer before they actually train. Yes. They'll come back onto the mat and they'll touch the mat as in out of respect.
Respect, yes.
So the kids now will follow them, and they just look up to them and think, well, if he's doing that, I should be doing that.
So role models in our own community?
Yeah.
Right, we don't need to look outside.
No, we don't know.
Yeah.
No. So it's just like the whole, the setup, the way, we want our kids, the younger generation, to be showing the same respect and be humble, and sport gives you that.
Wonderful.
And it's really good to see.
Keeps kids off the streets.
It does. We've done a lot of work with the local police in crime prevention, life crime, etc. So the wrestling club, like I say, it's a wrestling project run from the Gurdwara, but it's very much more than just a wrestling club. Yeah.
Well, it's part of the community, isn't it?
Yeah.
You are integrated and integrated into the mainstream of community, not just your own religion. You're not an island.
No.
You actually interact with everybody.
Yeah.
So the local council, the police force, they've all helped, haven't they? And they're all interactive now.
Yeah, they're very much our partners. Wolverhampton City Council are massive in what we do. They support every single thing that any project that we want to put forward. We've set up a wellbeing hub there through Wolverhampton City Council and Mind.
Yes.
The national governing body for mental health. And it's the first Mind hub in the country in the faith centre.
So we're moving now from the physical exercise side to the mental side, because mental health, believe it or not, even the Sikhs suffer from mental health.
No, they do.
We can deny it all we like, but it's actually real. Yeah. So tell me more about that, the Wellbeing Centre and this partnership with Mind.
Well, the Wellbeing Hub we've set up, where our volunteers trained. So it's a two-part. It's obviously the physical part, which we've already sort of set up, and it's all running and has been for years. And then we've set up the wellbeing side, which is the wellbeing of the mind, which is very important. I think in the Sikh community itself, we neglect that.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so we think it's just, let's do a bit of sports and that's it. But there's a lot more to it. I mean, the mind is everything.
That's right.
So we've set up this because we've seen a need for it in the Sikh community. We tend to brush, say, that area under the carpet and not engage in it. There's nothing wrong with having issues.
Ranjit, why do you think that happens? I mean, you've been part of the community, ever since you were born. And, you've been affiliated to the Gurdwara from day one. Why do you think that's happening? Why do we kind of live in denial that mental health issues, A, exist in the first place, and B, they actually exist in our own community?
I think it's more to do with what the next door neighbour is going to think, or what the rest of the family are going to think. But you should address it. You should address it and help the person who has issues. Yeah. Everybody has issues. This is the thing. I mean, we don't use the word sort of mental health as such here, because in our community it's like, whoa.
What do you term it? How do you
it's a wellbeing hub.
Wellbeing hub.
Yeah.
So, and that comes from positive, from the right word. Right?
Yeah. So it's a very much a relaxed place, atmosphere, a setting, because it's normal.
Yes.
It's nothing, where you should be putting fingers on somebody and saying, well, look at him.
But it's easier to visit a wellbeing hub than it is to visit a mental health centre, isn't it? Yeah, so it's a great way of putting that across. Yeah, so have you had many people come forward?
See, because we engage them through activities, we sort of have the wellbeing sessions included in the
part and parcel. Brilliant.
So it's not like 12 till 2. It's a wellbeing hub as such. So it's very informal. It's very nice. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're talking about from like young ages all the way to the seniors.
So obviously, you know, when it's allowed, we have the congregation on a Sunday. And during the week, do members of the sports club, you know, hold presentations? Do they when the congregation is meeting? You know, do you guys encourage people to go to the other side if they're not taking part in sports, etc.?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's again, it's nothing that we force upon people.
Yeah, of course.
And because if they find an interest in it's whatever in life, you're likely to stick to it. Rather than being, like you say, told you have to go there, you have to do this, and I think that doesn't work very well. Not for long periods.
Not these days.
Not these days, no.
Yeah.
So it's the whole setup that we have. I would say, it's a comfortable setting. You know, people feel there's a feel good factor. So, and just as an example on my wrestling club itself. Even the newest person who comes in, the beginner, say, he will be treated the same way as a world champion.
Okay.
So they feel very, very comfortable, and they'd like to come back. There's no attitude. There's, you know, I'm number 1 and you're like sort of number 10, whatever. It's none of that. So everybody's treated equally.
Yeah.
And that's again across the board throughout the whole community.
Ranjit, one of the things that sometimes we lack in the community is professionalism. So all of your instructors are professionally trained, aren't they, and qualified?
Yeah, just at the Gurdwara we have 16 level 2 sports coaches.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of coaches for one place.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Usually in sports clubs you may get 2, 3 perhaps. So we make sure that everybody's fully qualified. And then on top of that, we have to decide which person is good for which area.
Yes.
So, you know, somebody may be the best person to run as a volunteer in the Wellbeing Hub. Another person may be the best person to run a football coaching course, etc. So we offer training courses there, and we have clear pathways to help develop. So it's just not... it's not just a session that you just attend.
Yeah.
We want to do more than that.
Sure.
We want to keep sort of these people on a long-term basis.
Yeah, much more of a holistic approach to their health and well-being.
Yeah. We also we've also set up a healthy lifestyle advice centre.
Okay.
We partnered with Wolf Sports Nutrition, and so it's not just physical again.
Yes.
You have advice on, you know, what to be eating, your dieting, etc., etc.
Okay.
So that's on top of the physical activity again.
Okay, here's one for you then.
Go on then.
So one of the unhealthiest things that I think we do is have langar at the Gurdwara.
Okay.
Especially for those that don't need it.
Yeah.
Right. And has the health and the club side of it had any impact on the food that the Gurdwara serves in the langar?
So that's a good question. That one is, yeah.
Do you like that one?
No, it's very good. Yeah. Again, we've engaged with quite a lot of the congregation, the regulars that come to the Gurdwara.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have done, and offered them sort of the advice, and you should be changing. It's not wholesale changes. You know, somebody who's been like eating this all their life. So little changes make a big difference. So we have helped develop sort of diet plans, etc.
Excellent.
Yeah. So. We just try to do that little bit extra.
Yeah. Because the thing is, obviously langar is, you know, it's a sacred thing in our community, in our religion, right? And then as I understand it, where I want to be is langar as they serve it in India. Yeah. One dal sabji and falka, not like a restaurant meal.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, which is what it's become in some places. So, did you get much resistance from the traditional guys that eat langar on a regular basis? That, you know, we've always done it this way. So, who are you?
No, not at Cannock Road, Gurdwara, because I think they understand that everybody's sort of like going forward in the same direction, say.
Yeah.
So where we're helping, you know, all the guys who come to the sports clubs, take part in the sports activities, we're just trying to help these guys, to have maybe, I don't know, less longer a day, maybe perhaps. But the Gurdwara is so supportive in what we do.
Well, it seems like it's 100% integrated.
Yeah, totally.
You know, the club and the Gurdwara are together.
Yeah.
They act as one.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the thing is that I think that's one of the last places where, you know, there's no kind of thought about healthy meals is our kitchens.
Yeah.
Because, you know, everybody wants to donate. So if I have an occasion at the Gurdwara, I want to serve really nice food.
Yeah, of course.
As you do, as everybody else does.
Yeah.
So, but I'm always mindful of the fact that, especially those that eat longer regularly, that they're not getting a balanced diet, and it's not necessarily, it tastes beautiful, but it's not necessarily the healthiest diet, is it?
No, not necessarily, but it's a slow change, say.
Are people waking up to it?
I think
Come on, tell it to us straight.
Okay, I can't call Gurdwara,
Okay.
we kind of force our hand upon them, say, listen, you can't be eating that now. You can just eat it.
Okay.
Type of thing, it's fun. It's fun with the elderly.
Yes.
I think some of them just try to say, we'll be doing it, but then get rid of us. So.
Yeah.
No, it's if we can educate that little bit to any one person, I think it's just good for their health.
Well, you've got to carry people forward, right?
Of course.
So, you know, most Gurdwara have a community of people that are there regularly.
Yeah.
So at Leicester, there's 65, 70, mostly elderly people that visit the Gurdwara. Obviously, they have langar at lunchtime there, or maybe in the morning, or maybe in the evening. So, you know, if we can start educating them at the Gurdwara, it makes it a lot easier for them to educate themselves when they go back home.
Of course. And I think this is the thing. I think we're missing a big opportunity, like I said earlier. From Gurdwara, we can do anything we want.
You can, can't you?
We've got Gurdwara up and down the country, nationally.
Yes.
So I would say just let's do that a little bit more.
Okay.
We thrive on what we do because we're passionate about, you know, we started from the wrestling club and helping youngsters get into sports and helping them develop, helping the elderly, you know, with their diet plans, etc. It's rewarding.
Of course.
It's massively rewarding, and we spend hours there a day. It's sometimes 6-8 hours a day, and this is just this is what we like doing.
Yeah. Ranjit, how many volunteers in Cannock Road, Gurdwara, most of the time would we find there?
On average, we have 30 to 40 volunteers, and this is from the wrestling club on the sports side to the Gurdwara itself. Yeah.
So there's 35, 40 people on a daily basis volunteering their time.
Yeah.
So coming from the wrestling club side of the business, is there anybody that's, you know, do you have paid people there, or are they all volunteers?
No, they're all volunteers.
So every single person?
Nobody's paid.
Right. So that's the other thing, isn't it? That, you know, sometimes what happens is that people in our community who don't know how Gurdwara and people operate sometimes are very suspicious of people in the Gurdwara volunteering. Yeah. You know, I for one have first-hand knowledge of Nanak Gurdwara in Leicester. Yeah. How much work the committee do in terms of volunteering their time. Yeah. Not one of them takes a penny.
That's right.
And so when people are critical, you know, I'm the first to defend the president of Gurdwara. You know, he's there from 10:30, 11 o'clock at night till 6, 7 o'clock, and sometimes 7 days a week.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. I couldn't do that even if somebody paid me to do it.
It's not an easy job.
It's not easy, is it?
Because you serve in the community at the end of the day.
Yeah, and with that comes criticism as well.
Obviously.
Right.
Always.
Yeah. So
you see people sometimes think, well, you're doing it for a reason.
Absolutely.
But the wrong reason you're doing it for is because it's rewarding what you're doing, you're helping the community.
Do you know, I think the problem with that is that the way you react to things is a reflection of who you are. So people that are most critical are the ones that are not volunteering.
That's usually the case.
Right? Yeah. Not bringing anything back.
Yeah.
So because they don't put anything back, they're very suspicious when others do.
Yeah, why is that person doing
that? Right. So as I said, you're often a reflection of how you are, and that's how you react.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get it out there for those people that don't visit the Gurdwara very often, or are thinking, how is all this run? It's run on volunteers.
Yeah.
People giving their evenings, days, weekends up, and they've been doing it at Cannock Road Gurdwara, what, 40, 50 years?
Yeah, it's been running since 1966 when it was first formed.
Wow.
So. And that was the first Gurdwara in Wolverhampton.
Yes.
Yeah. And we've been there nearly 30 years, and this is what we'll be doing on a daily basis.
Well, you yourself have given up so much of your life to that club and to the Gurdwara, and truly, you're a servant of the community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever get fed up? Does the family ever say, Ranjit, what the hell? When are you going to stop doing that?
I think it also obviously helped because my father and my family, they were all involved in wrestling from the start, so they understand it. They love what we do.
Is it a family affair now? Do all of your family volunteer at the Gurdwara?
Yeah, still.
Yeah.
So like I say, it's not just me who's I sometimes take the limelight because I'm at the forefront.
Of course.
But I have got a big sort of volunteer base there.
Yeah.
And with that, then it's not going to work anyway.
Well, look, you can't come and do this kind of stuff without having a team.
Yeah.
Right? So, you're the figurehead of that.
Yeah.
And, you're the nucleus, you've driven it forward. You guys started it, you're second generation now. Are your children involved?
Yeah, they're involved as well. So everybody is literally around us are involved.
No, it's a real family affair, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's excellent.
And it's really good to give back.
I get that. We've met a few times now, and again, I've interviewed several people that are into donating charitable works, etc.
Yeah.
And they do it very selflessly because the rewards are not money, are they? They're something else.
No.
And money will never get to that kind of reward that you would get from doing what you do.
No, there's no sort of money, like you say, as you would substitute for this reward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's a higher form, isn't it?
It is, definitely. It's nice. Like I say, you don't feel as though it's hard work. It's easy work because it's good to do.
Absolutely.
Good to give back.
So a couple of things. So obviously people that live near the community can come down and join the club and volunteer, whatever it is. Yeah, they can walk through the doors. There's no membership criteria. There's no money to pay.
No.
Right, so there's no restrictions on caste, colour, creed.
Never.
Yeah, sex, age. So there's no restriction whatsoever. You can go to Cannock Road Gurdwara and participate as much or as little as you like. Right?
Totally, yeah.
100%. Okay, so then we've got people that will be listening, in other countries, certainly in the UK.
Yeah.
So if their Gurdwara is not providing these kind of facilities, what would they do? How would they then approach the Gurdwara if they A, want to set up something, or B, they want to go to the Gurdwara and say, look, we want some more facilities other than just the religious side?
How to set that up? I think obviously as maybe a small group would need to want to do, say, a small group would want the Gurdwara to be say developing sports or activities or whatever their interest is. They should approach the committee.
Yes.
Yeah, approach the committee and see if they can put that on. And our Gurdwara have got so much sort of facility in the buildings, fields, whatever have you, and I think they can put that on. But it needs a right sort of like steering group, and collectively needs the right people involved to want to do it.
Absolutely.
It's just one person. Like I say, if it was just me trying to put this on Cannock Road Gurdwara, it wouldn't happen. Yeah. So you need a collective group. Again, on top of that, if anybody needs any help in setting this up, we've been sustained and developed since whenever.
So, for all the Gurdwara committees, if you want to provide this for your Sangat, which I think you should, especially in these times and difficult times, is reach out to Ranjit and his team at Cannock Road, Gurdwara. You're all affiliated to each other. Everybody knows that Gurdwara.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Right? People will know the Pradhan.
Yeah.
People will know the committee. People will know you.
Yeah.
Don't be bashful. Come forward and say, look, can you help us do this? Because that's another weakness in our community. We don't ask for help, do we?
No, I think a lot of the times we think we can just do it ourselves.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're specialists at what we do, so we're offering that help.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about taking this back to India?
The progress that we've done here. There has been talk over the last couple of years, tell you the truth. The first thing we are still going to do is set up a wrestling academy. Okay. Which will be formally linked to Wolverhampton Wrestling Club at Cannock Road, Gurdwara. And then set up an academy.
National? International?
To begin with, it'll be a local one.
Okay.
But then obviously we'll develop into a national one. And again, we're looking to develop it the same way that we've developed this club over here. But it'll be a partner club, so... Okay. So what about bringing in, Australia, the US, Canada? Again, it's this thought is for further down the line. Okay. Yeah, but it is something that we're looking at. So nationally here first, let's set up the whole network with our Gurdwara here, activity based. Yeah. And then we can develop from there. Yeah, because obviously, we live in a small country, as we said. Sometimes space is an issue. Some Gurdwara will not have room for sports facilities. Yeah. So that could be an issue. Whereas in places like India, Canada, America, there is space to do that. So and weather's different as well. Yeah. So it'd be an easier sell, if you like. I think even here, Cam. We've got so many Gurdwara in each city, each town. Yes. I think, why not share your facilities? We couldn't do that, could we? We couldn't do that. It's an option. Right. Okay, so, and that's a great idea. So instead of a particular Gurdwara setting up their own sports academy or wrestling academy, why not have one with the city? Yeah. So why don't you guys come together, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ all the Gurdwara ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਣਦੀ ਆ, come and see Ranjit and set this up. More than welcome. Right? Yeah. And then the other thing, of course, is Ranjit, is there help available from local councils if you wanted to set this up? There is. I mean, you just have to partner up with, like I said, the local council. Just from my learning, as soon as the council came over to see the setup at the Gurdwara, they jumped straight on board. They'd help us in any way possible, and they have the resources for the whole city. Well, they are the city, aren't they? They are the city. So if you've got the local council on board, that's almost your job done. Yes. So, but at the same time, the local councils are looking to help their community. That's what they're set up for. That's right, yeah. So, the pot's already there, money's already there. Yeah. Sometimes it's not easy to access, but it's public purse money, so they can't just give it away to anybody. So you have to jump through the hoops, right? Yeah. I think if they can see you doing the right thing, they're more than willing to help you. And like you say, they want to help in the community. So there you have it. You've got it in one place. It's there, isn't it? It's an open hub for anybody. Yeah. So Ranjit, you have this wonderful facility, so you've got ideas of expanding it nationally and internationally. Yeah. And if you didn't have before today, you have now. Yeah, definitely. And everybody heard it here on this show. Yeah. What are your plans? So how do you, 400 or 500 people is a lot of people in one concentrated area. Yeah. Do you have, so you've got the well-being hub, right? Yeah. You've got the Gurdwara, you've got the religious teachings, you've got the sports side of it. Yeah. Do you have people with a business mindset, with an expansionist mindset that can help you to take this national and international? Yeah, I think because of all the partnerships we've set up with local and national governing bodies, they're always willing to give us that help to further develop. Yeah. I love the physical side. you know, the hands-on type of thing.
Yeah, I get that.
So obviously we have people who write our project plans and again further development.
Yeah.
Locally, nationally, and internationally.
Okay.
So and a lot of that's come from the local council.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So
So 10 years time. Yeah. 2031.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I'm a little bit grayer. And you've got some grey hair. You know, if we come back here, where would you like it to be? What would you like your legacy to be, and where would you like to see this thing going?
I think even just on the short term, I'm talking about maybe the next 3 years. We're looking to build a big activity centre, sports complex. On the fields that we have at the Gurdwara.
Right.
But that will not just be sort of sports and be education centre. It's going to be, there's a special project that we're doing, Sport for Autism, nationally.
Okay.
I think that area is pretty much neglected. So yeah, we've got that project on the go. And there'll be a centre of excellence for wrestling, nationally.
When does that get delivered? When you have
now, this talks that are sort of like they're developing all the time type of thing. It's been sort of like on the go for the last 12 months.
Right.
So I'm hoping in the next 2 years there will be a national centre set up at the Gurdwara.
Incredible.
Yeah. So again, we're looking at sort of you know, the crime prevention work. We're looking at education centre, we're looking at clear pathways in sports. And so if you're looking sort of like, say, 10 years' time, I'd like to have helped develop athletes onto a sort of like Olympic platform. That's where I'm looking to take them.
Amazing.
So again, from that say sports area, but we're looking at careers for them as well.
Okay. What's the budget for the centre that you're having now?
The budget we've been quoted for a one-story so far, about 450,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the total project, what do you think? Where will it run to?
That's you can go on forever, that one can.
Okay.
But yeah, it just depends on sort of.
Where's the funding coming from?
Again, we'll be getting help through Wolverhampton City Council. We're looking at Sport England. We're looking at the lottery.
Okay. So one of the things that, you know, the problem I feel in our community is that the committee wants to do a project.
Yeah.
Always look to the Sangat.
Yeah.
Because we're not always attuned to the help that's available out there. Do you find that?
Yeah, I find that because I think they've always been in that little bubble, haven't they?
Yes, that's right.
So, but there's a lot more help out there.
Yes.
For doing the right thing.
Yes.
So if you're looking to work in the community, if you're looking to sort of develop, it can be in any area.
Yeah.
It doesn't just have to be sports, but yeah, there's a lot of help out there.
A lot of help.
Yeah, there's a lot of help. You just need to, I think, have that link with the local council, and they'll open up doors for you.
Yes.
They'll show you, they'll help you set up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we could really move our Gurdwaras forward as community centres.
Yeah.
As places of excellence for, you know, not just physical but also mental well-being.
Yeah.
And we could really become hubs, couldn't we?
I think again we get frustrated. We, as like from the Gurdwara itself, we get frustrated.
In what way?
In the way that, like you just said, we can be doing a lot more.
Yeah.
We can actually take over, in the sense that we could be at the forefront from religious places of worship.
Yeah. Look, there's nobody that volunteers like our community does.
No,
there's nobody that gives more money than our community does. But it's then how that's channeled, and you know, having the foresight and the ambition to go forward and do it. And to me, you know, as a businessman, that all that tells me is lack of leadership.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. So those that are charged with leading those kind of things that people elect or people select are not doing their job properly.
Yeah, I think, you know, the important thing also with that, you know, obviously the old school committees are still there. Nobody really wants to let go of where they've been for the last 12 or 18 years. The way we've kind of like, our Gurdwara's sort of the role model as such, because it's very easy for us to develop because of the whole scenario.
It didn't start easy though, did it?
No,
nothing starts easy.
Nothing starts easy,
right?
Yeah, but like I say, because I think we had a nucleus of a lot of people who wanted to drive it in the same direction.
Yes,
that's what made it easy to do.
They carried it.
Yeah, carry. And then we've got a youth committee with the youngsters.
Brilliant.
So they come back with their sort of feedback to us of what they want developed, and what their age group kind of needs.
Yes.
And that's how we work together. So they bring it to us, and then as seniors say, to the senior committee, and then we work from there. So they're always engaged. So it's not just myself or the senior guys who just pick and choose whatever they want to do. So we just listen to the committee itself, to the youngsters and the youth, and because at the end of the day they're our future. So
they're plugged into a different audience, aren't they? Their views are different, right. and they complement. So that would really help the older guys.
Yeah.
And then that would actually help them stay as fresh as they can for longer, wouldn't it?
Of course.
Because these youngsters that are on the junior committee are their ears and eyes, aren't they, onto what's going on and what younger people want. Because like you said, none of us are going to be around forever.
Yeah, that's right.
So
they're more in touch with the community, so let's listen to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Ranjit, time waits for no man.
Yep.
So we're done for today. Anything that you'd like to say to the audience here? Because I think we go out to KTV goes out to 134 countries.
Okay.
So there would be people sitting of communities, really small Sikh communities.
Yeah.
What would you like to say?
It's quite simple, Kam. I'd just like to say that we've got this opportunity to do something big. Let's get together.
Yes.
And let's make a difference. Let's engage and make that difference in our community, not just in the Sikh community, but the wider community.
We are part of the wider community. Yes. We can't survive in isolation.
No, we can't.
Yeah.
And again, we're here to help. We've been tried and tested for many, many years, so we can help you set this up. So there's no, feeling of I don't know what to do.
Sure.
So that's what I would say.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you very much.
Great having you. And we'll do this again sometime.
Definitely.
And we'll come to the club definitely with the show once we're no longer in lockdown.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, thank you very much for watching. End of another show. So, if you're watching, if you're part of the Gurdwara committee and you want to do something, please reach out to Ranjit and his team. They can help. We'll have people in the community. If you're part of the Sangat and you want your Gurdwara to do something, approach the committee, approach Ranjit. And if you're listening around the world where you perhaps haven't got the numbers, maybe you haven't got a building for a Gurdwara, here's an idea. The Sikh community is wonderful in the charitable work that they do. As I said, Langar is truly a gift to humanity from the gods, given through Sikhism, and the work that all the organisations are doing around the world, giving our time and feeding those that are in need of that service, is second to none. So it makes me really proud to be a Sikh. And so go forward and let's expand into communities so Sikhism is known by more people. So as Ranjit has demonstrated, their project is not just for Sikh community, they reach the whole community, and that at the end of the day is what we're all about. So thank you very much for your time. Until next time, goodbye.